out to 1 million kids. 1 million. And your interaction and you having fun in this is important because it'll show everyone that learning how to handle their emotions is actually a good thing, a powerful thing, and it's fun. So this is the story about Merlin the Hooktail cat. How Merlin the Hooktail cat outwitted the big gray one-eyed bully cat. How do you think this kitty sounds? The big gray kitty. Everybody together. That's not scary. Well, how does a big kitty sound? Okay. That's how he sounds. And there Merlin was, just enjoying the day by the waterfall. And he looked up, and he heard this cat growling. Brr, brr. He looked up, and this cat just pounced on him. He fell in the water, and it was cold, and everything went dark. Everything went dark. And then all of a sudden, he heard these little kittens meowing. How do kittens meow? And he woke up and he realized it was only a dream. The kittens wanted to play. They go, Merlin, come play with us. And he said, well, how come you guys aren't up in your tree? You see, where they lived, there was a cormorant. This is a bird that flies around with these sticks, and they make these nice nests. And they made this nice nest for the kittens. He says, well, why aren't you up there in the nest? He said, well, we want to play. We want to play. And Merlin asked, where's your mother? And he said, well, our mother cat's across the river there. She wanted to go catch some lizards. Merlin said, oof, I don't like the water. Because he had that bad experience with the water and with that cat. He goes, I'm not going over there. But look over there, there's a mouse. Let's go chase the mouse. So Merlin and the kittens went and chased the mouse up and down the trees and across the rocks and all around. They didn't catch the mouse, but they got the cheese. And so they had fun. And all of a sudden, Gigglepuss was the mother cat. She showed up. And they all shared the cheese. And Merlin thought, I have a good life. Life is good. So all of a sudden, Merlin heard this robin, and the robin said, Merlin, come and play. Come out into the woods. Come and get me if you can. And so the robin went out into the woods, and Merlin started chasing him and went through the meadows and up the trees and down the trees and didn't get the robin, but guess who he ran into? What do you think? That's right, he ran into the big one-eyed bully cat. And how does a one-eyed bully cat sound? And so he ran, and he was afraid, and he ran through the woods and up the trees and down the trees and ran into this hole, into a tree. And the big bully cat stuck its head through the hole, but couldn't get it in. So Merlin was huddled in there, scared, inside the tree. I don't know if you could see it, his little eyes are down there. And the big gray cat said, I'll be back. Don't even try to come out of this tree. So Merlin was pretty upset. He was sitting there, and he was crying. And all of a sudden, he heard some noise right behind him. And he heard a voice. He said, Merlin, how do you do that? Merlin said, how do I do what? And he said, how do you do your fear? How do I do my fear? What do you mean by that? He had seen this kind of cat before. It's a tuxedo cat, and he knew they're magical. They're wizard cats. So he didn't know if he could trust him. He didn't know if he was safe. But it was worse outside the tree, wasn't it? So he thought, well, okay, how do I do my fear? I don't know. What do you mean, how do I do my fear? Don't you just feel fear? You don't do it. It just happens to you, doesn't it? Well, Bonzai was saying was, you're doing something inside. So he said, what do you do inside? What's the first thing that happened so you knew you were afraid? And he said, well, I saw that big bully cat. And then what happened, Bonzai said? Well, then I remembered what happened with the bully cat up on the waterfall. And I was afraid. So you made a movie in your head, didn't you? Do you ever notice that you do that? When something makes you afraid?
Yeah.
You have a memory.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that memory makes whatever's going on worse. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But you see, now you know you're doing it. And that's part of how you do your fear. And so then he said, what happened next? He goes, well, then I ran. So I was running, and he said, where did you feel that fear in your body? He said, well, I felt it right here. Okay, well, that's how you're doing your fear. It makes it a lot different, doesn't it, when you know that there's something to it, instead of just, oh, I have a fear, and it's all jumbled up. So he asked him, where do you feel it in your body? That's the first step, is where do you feel the fear in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? That's the first step towards handling these emotions that are uncomfortable. And then also realizing that there's a structure to it. There's like boxes. And what Merlin said was, those boxes remind me of the fish boxes down at Uncle Barnacle's dock. He said the first thing that happened was I heard the sound. Then I saw the gray cat. Then I had memories of that other cat. And made a movie in my head. I made a feeling in my chest and then in my arms and legs. So when you have a feeling, you can stop and say, all right, I know I'm afraid. How did I do that? How did I do that? And when you stop and notice your feelings, you can choose different ways to react. You are not your feelings. You have feelings. Is that the first time you've heard that? Yeah. You have feelings. Did you notice how you can feel one really good one day, and then the next day not feel good about the same thing, and the next day feel good again? So you see those feelings change about the same things. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So Bonzai said, you should always do this whenever you feel uncomfortable. Whenever you feel an emotion that feels bad, you can do this. And Merlin said, well, what about Briar Patch catnip? What about Briar Patch catnip? Because it makes you a happy cat, doesn't it? Because there's a song, just like your duck song, it makes you a happy cat. And Bonzai said, anytime you've taken Briar Patch catnip, how long have you felt better? He said, maybe an hour. But does it go away? He said, yeah. So when you look for something outside of yourself to make yourself feel better, whether it's a video game or a Pepsi Cola or something like that, you're looking at something outside because it makes you happy, or because the TV says it makes you happy. Can colored water make you happy? Really? Yeah. Yeah, think about it. They're selling you something like Briar Patch catnip. They're selling Briar Patch catnip. And they've got a right to sell things, but you also have a right to think about it. Say, the only way I can make myself feel better is to deal with my feelings and not take something like that. So Bonzai said to him, who do you know that wouldn't be afraid of that bully cat? And Merlin thought about it, and he thought about it. And he thought about his Uncle Barnacle down at the fish docks. One day Uncle Barnacle's over here. One day Uncle Barnacle was down at the fish docks, and the nice fisherman was giving all the kiddies fish. And all of a sudden, guess what came up? An alligator. And the alligator was about to bite the fisherman. And Barnacle went, meow! And the fisherman looked up and he moved away. And what he did was Barnacle ran up a tree and pounced on the alligator. His Uncle Barnacle's a tough kitty. You can actually see that on YouTube. You can see a cat shoving an alligator back into the water. He doesn't jump on it, though. He goes, Uncle Barnacle wouldn't be afraid. He goes, well, what would Uncle Barnacle do if that big gray cat was there? I said, well, what do you guys think? What do you think Uncle Barnacle would do if that big gray cat was there?
He would probably go up the tree and jump on him.
Yeah. Or maybe what else would he do?
What I think he would do is that I think he would tell him to back away, and then he would kill him with kindness.
Kill him with kindness. He'd be nice to him, that's right. He may also just say, whatever, and ignore him.
That's what I was going to say. He would just ignore it.
He would just ignore him. Right. And Merlin said, well, you know, I could try that. I could try to feel these feelings in my body and notice what I'm feeling and ignore them. And Bonzai said to him, look, I want you to try to move that rock. I want you to try to move that rock. Do you ever see a cat moving something around? It was like, like this. So Merlin was like this. And Bonzai said, no, don't move the rock. Try to move it. It's like, I'm going to try to pick up this water bottle. I'm trying, okay? I'm really trying. Okay, now I'm going to pick it up. See the difference? So little Merlin said, okay, I will do it. I will do this. And Bonzai said, that's a good thing, because that's the only way you're going to get out from under this tree and back into the real world. He said, are you hungry? And Merlin said, yeah. Well, let's get some fish. So they went in through the tree, down into the passageways, and then out onto the shore. And out onto the shore, what do you think Merlin felt at the shore? Yes.
Kind of like not feeling, kind of work it out where the feelings are kind of it's hard to explain.
What did Merlin feel?
He would feel kind of scared because you said before, every time he goes near the water, he gets scared because that he was at a waterfall when the big one-eyed bully cat pounced on him, so he's going to be afraid of the water.
So Merlin was afraid. That's right. Merlin was afraid, and he walked, but he started to walk out there towards it, and then Bonzai said, "Look, there's some tide pools there, and there's some fish in them. Let's go out there and get a couple fish." So Merlin started walking towards there, and he started to feel scared. And then he stopped and he realized, okay, what am I doing inside? I heard the sound of the water. Then I made the movie of the cat again, because he saw that big gray bully cat again. Tensed up, made a feeling in his chest, and then he stopped going forward. So there he was, and there was that tide pool with the fish. It's like you're not going to go have lunch because you're afraid. So Merlin thought, well, okay. What would Uncle Barnacle do? What would Uncle Barnacle do? Uncle Barnacle would hear the sound of the water and think of dinner, wouldn't he? It's like, I'm going to go fishing. So he thought, all right, I'm going to be like Uncle Barnacle. I'm just going to go out and get me some fish. And so he went out and got him a nice fish. And they enjoyed that, and they were out laying by the water on the sand, eating the fish. And Merlin was thinking, wow, you know what? I got over my fear. I'm going to go face that bully cat. You think he was over his fear? No, probably not yet. Do you ever feel like you get one little success, you're like, all right, I'm perfect, I can do this, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I did that presentation before. I know we did perfect today. And so that's what he was thinking. But Bonzai said to him, he goes, you did really well. You went out into the water and you got the fish. I have some more things to show you tomorrow before you leave. But Merlin was thinking, nah, I'm going to leave. I'm ready. You ever feel like that? An adult says, yeah, you're not ready yet. You got some more to learn. You're like, no, I can do this, right? Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes it's good to listen. So the next morning, Bonzai was sleeping. He was snoring a little bit. You ever see a cat make movements when they're sleeping? They make little movements like they're chasing mice? Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was sleeping. And so Merlin got up, and he snuck out that morning. He started to go into the woods. And what do you think he ran into? The bully. How's a bully cat sound? I can't hear you. Come on, how does he sound? I can't. And he's running and running and running. And guess who he ran into was Bonzai. And the bully cat just kind of left. And Merlin looked up at Bonzai. And how do you think Merlin felt?
He felt bad because he disobeyed him.
Right. So he felt bad. And so, walking back to the tree, and Merlin didn't feel too good. Then Bonzai turned around and he said, you know what? Your word, what you say, is your world. Your word is your whole world. Your truth is your world. And so Merlin didn't feel too good. And they went down into the tree. So that's a big booty. So what's the first thing you think little Merlin felt? So you said he felt bad. So what would you call that feeling bad when you know you did something wrong? Yes.
Guilty.
Right, you felt guilt. So he felt guilt. And if you look at your card there, I will show you. If you look at your card, here you can see it shows you how to do the SpiritCalm on the card. So let's do the SpiritCalm with the guilt. And first, I'd like everyone to stand up. This is what you do if you're feeling guilty. First thing you do. What's the first thing? Everybody together? Okay. Where do I feel it in my body? Okay, one more time. Where do I feel it in my body? Right. The next part is, what do I need to know to let you go? And what's the next part? Let me hear you out loud.
What do I need to know to let you go?
Great. Good. Go ahead and sit down. So little Merlin said, yes, I don't feel that good. And Bonzai said, okay, the first thing you do is ask yourself, where do you feel it in your body? So little Merlin thought about it. No, you felt that guilt right here. And you can feel it in different parts of your body. You can feel it anywhere from your head to your toes. You can feel it in your body. You felt it here. It was okay, I feel it here. And the thing at that point is not to run away from it. We usually like to push feelings under. You know that? Like when you feel bad, you're just, okay, I did something bad, but I'll just pretend it didn't happen. Do you ever do that? Because you don't know what to do with that bad feeling. Well, you know what happens when you push a feeling under? It starts to come out in other ways. Do you ever notice that? Yeah. You might act differently towards your friends or towards your parents. So when you have that guilty feeling, the thing to do is say, okay, I will feel that feeling. I know it might sound weird, doesn't it? If you feel your feeling, it helps it go away. But that's how it works. So he went ahead and felt the feeling, okay, this is uncomfortable. And it takes you going through that moment of feeling uncomfortable. You think you guys can all handle that for a few moments? Is to just, if you feel bad, is to say, okay, I will feel it right now. Where do I feel it? Do you think you guys can be tough enough to do that? Because if you are, the feeling can go away and you can start feeling better. But that's what it takes. It takes being tough like that. Saying, all right, I'm going to feel that. There's that guilt feeling. That doesn't feel good. Okay. And you know what? That's the worst it gets. You just go through it the one time. If you don't do that, what happens is it follows you around. It follows you around. So you might as well just face it, feel it. And the next step is to ask, what do I need to know to let you go? So you ask the feeling. All right, so you're not afraid of the feeling. You feel it. There's that feeling, oh, it's uncomfortable. What do I need to know to let you go? And just wait for the answer. The answer you get is going to be something like what someone that loves you would tell you, like an aunt or an uncle, parent, teacher. Or if you pray about it, you're going to get an answer. And if you just listen. Now, in answer to an anger feeling, you might feel like, well, I feel angry at him and I'm going to go bop him in the head. That's what's going to make me feel better. Well, that's not the kind of answer you want. You want an answer that your parents, someone that loves you, or if you prayed about it, what kind of an answer would you get that way? Okay? So that's what little Merlin said, okay, what do I need to know to let you go? And the feeling he got, and it just pops into your head. It's almost like it's your own thought. And it is. It comes from your feelings. It just pops into your head. Kind of like you don't really know where it comes from. And he got the idea that, hey, I did something wrong, and I betrayed my friend by leaving in the morning. But I don't have to do that anymore. I can decide not to do that thing. And Bonzai said, that's great. So how do you feel now? And he goes, well, the guilt is gone. Now, does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
You can feel the feeling, ask it the question, and it has information for you of what to do. Do you ever feel bad and you go to a friend and you tell them about something, I feel really bad about this, and then your friend says, well, just don't do that thing anymore. And you're like, wow, my friend's so smart, right? Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah.
You know why they seem so smart is because it's your own information. It's what agrees with you. It's what makes sense to you at a deep level. You're not too young to understand this, you guys. Okay? I wish when I was your age, someone told me this, how to handle these emotions. They don't have to just push us around. We're not our emotions, but our emotions have information for us. Information. It's like a little oracle. It's like a magical ring or something. It can give you the information as long as you stop, feel the feeling, and ask it. What's the question?
What do I need to know to let you go?
Okay, a little louder.
What do I need to know to let you go?
Great. Awesome. You guys are good. You got it. And that is right there on those cards. The card. You say, where do I feel the emotion? And what do I need to know to let you go? It's right there. So the next thing little Merlin felt was sad. Why do you think little Merlin felt sad? Merlin felt sad because he hurt his friend. He betrayed his friend, and he felt sad. And so it's the same thing. What do you think? What's the first step when you're feeling sad about something? Yes?
Where do I feel it in my body?
Okay, everybody up now. Let's do this. This is for sadness. Thinking about how little Merlin was feeling sad. Saying, where do I feel it in my body? Okay, a little louder.
Where do I feel it in my body?
Great. What's the next step? Nice and loud.
What do I need to know to let you go?
Awesome. All right, go ahead and sit down. Guys are good. So you did this with the sadness. Think of some time when you felt sad. And you can notice, where do I feel it in my body? Where do I feel it? Think of a time or something that you feel sad about now. And notice where it is in your body. Can you think of that? And don't run from it. Just feel it. Don't run from it. Just feel it. Now ask that feeling a question. What do I need to know to let you go? And see what comes up. See what comes up. Do you notice that you get a little bit of an answer and it's fast? You notice that? And it may not make the sadness go away altogether, but you'll have more of an understanding. And so little Merlin did that, and he said, okay, where do I feel that sadness? Right here, like a lump in my throat. And what do I need to know to let you go? Well, I think my friend will forgive me. I think it'll be okay. Do you think Bonzai will forgive him?
Yeah.
And so right there on your card, you'll see just how to do that. And the next thing he felt was fear. Because he was still afraid of that big gray one-eyed bully cat. He still had fear. So what do you think he did?
What do I need to know to let you go?
Right. So everybody stand up. And he did SpiritCalm. That's what this is called, SpiritCalm. So what's the first step?
What do I need to know to let you go?
Okay. Good. But this is the first. Yeah, the first thing is, where do I feel it in my body? Okay. That's the first part. Where do I feel it in my body? Next part is, what do I need to know to let you go? Great. Go ahead and sit down. Okay, so the first thing is, where do I feel? Because if you're feeling fear, what's that like? Think of a time when you felt fear and you had this feeling. So the first thing you want to think of at that point is, where do I feel it? Oh, I feel it here. Okay. So little Merlin was thinking about the big gray one-eyed bully cat, thinking, oh, I can't go outside the tree because I feel his fear because he's going to get me. So he felt it, and he didn't run from the feeling. He goes, oh, just bring it on. I could feel it. How many of you guys can go ahead and feel it instead of run from it? Great. You guys are warriors, aren't you? Like ninjas. Just don't be afraid of those feelings. They're not going to bite you. The worst thing is you feel a little bad. So, all right, I'm going to feel that fear, little Merlin said. And he felt it. He said, what do I need to know to let you go? And the information he got, the information you'll get when you say, what do I need to know to let you go? What kind of information is that? Who would give you that kind of information that you're looking for?
Someone that you love, or like someone that you pray to.
Right. Someone that loves you.
Someone who cares about you.
Yeah. Someone who's kind. This could be an answer to something that a parent or an aunt and uncle or something you pray about. And so you say, what do I need to know to let you go? And little Merlin, he asked that question. The fear was here. Asked the question. He thought, well, I'll just stay here with Bonzai, and he's going to show me what to do. So he felt better. And Bonzai said, what did you learn? He said, well, I don't have to be afraid of my feelings. When you don't ask your feelings this question, it's like you get an email from someone, you don't even open it up. These feelings are like these emails, or they're like a message on your phone, and your phone's beeping. That's the emotion. Beep, beep. And you're like, I'm not going to listen to that. Beep, beep, beep. And it has information that's going to help you. You have that inside of you. You don't have to go outside of yourself. You could go inside and listen. Yes, ask your parents for advice and stuff. But when you have a feeling, go ahead and face it. Go right into it. And little Merlin did the same thing with his anger. And so what happened next he said, Merlin said, but am I ready now? Am I ready now? He goes, almost. Let's go down back into the cave. So they went back into the cave. And Bonzai said, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes now and think about what it would be like to be that bullied cat. He goes, why would I want to do that? I said, I want you to think about it. This is going to help you so you can face him. Do any of you guys have someone that you're uncomfortable facing? Yeah. As you're sitting there now with me and with Merlin and Bonzai, do this with us. Bonzai said to him, I want you to imagine, close your eyes and imagine that you are that big gray one-eyed little cat. Imagine that you are that person that you're afraid of. And Bonzai said, now, what do you see? And little Merlin all of a sudden got this image of the bully cat being bullied by another cat. When you think about this person that you're uncomfortable about, and you imagine you're looking through their eyes, doesn't it seem a little different? Doesn't it seem a little less scary? Ever hear that saying, walk a mile in their shoes? It doesn't mean if they're doing something wrong, doesn't make it right, okay? This helps you understand it, and by understanding it, they'll have less power over you. And Merlin had this image. That was the big gray one-eyed bully cat when he had two eyes. And this was the mean kitty that hurt him. That's why he had one eye. This cat hurt him. So he was just a nice kitty. He got hurt one time. So little Merlin said, am I ready? Am I ready? And Bonzai said, what do you think he said? Yes, you're ready. He says, okay. So I'm going to head out. So little Merlin went out into the woods. He went out into the woods. And going along, it was a nice day. It was a nice day out. Bless you. Yeah. It was a nice day out. And all of a sudden, a robin showed up and said, Merlin, get over to the river. The kittens, Gigglepuss, they're in danger. He goes, oh no. So he ran to the river. And he looked up into the tree. He could see the kittens were safe. But he also saw Gigglepuss and the gray one-eyed bully cat fighting on the log. He could see Gigglepuss and the gray one-eyed bully cat fighting on the log. He's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So he thought, okay, where do I feel this in my body? I feel it here. What do I need to know to let you go? Okay, relax, think. What would Uncle Barnacle do? So Merlin ran up a tree and pounced on the gray cat. But Gigglepuss fell into the water too. Both of the cats were floating down the river. Giggles and Merlin was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So he ran up to the shore, all the way down, and he threw a stick out to get Gigglepuss. And then guess who came down next? The great bull-eyed bully cat. What do you think he did? Yes.
He got the stick and pulled up the...
Yeah, he helped this kitty back in and helped him onto the shore. And the great one-eyed bully cat said, why did you save me? And he said, why did you save me? He said, well, when you were little, gray cat, what happened to you? And he goes, I got hurt by another kitty. That's why I only have one eye. And they became friends. They became friends because he understood. He understood. Sometimes with a bully, it just takes some understanding. And they were there drying off, and Giggles was drying off, and Giggles said, well, I don't know. I think he's got to take the oath of kindness because I've got kittens here. What do you think, huh? So he goes, okay, I take the oath of kindness. I will always be kind to other kittens. So they became friends. They became friends. And that's the story about Merlin and the big gray one-eyed bully cat. steps. Stand by and stand up. And so what's the first thing?
Where do I feel it in my body?
And the next part is,
What do I need to know to let you go?
great. Go ahead and sit down. Awesome. So what do you do when you feel bad? Yes.
You say it over again. Where do you feel? Where do I feel it in my body? What do I need to know to let you go?
Great. Who else knows? If it hasn't answered yet, you haven't answered it. Who sure? What are the 2 steps?
Where do I feel it in my body, and what do I need to know to let you go?
Awesome. Great. One more person. 2 steps. Yes.
Where do I feel it in my body, and what do I need to know to let you go?
Awesome. So those are the steps. When you feel bad, step right into that fear, or that sadness, or that anger, or that guilt, and learn from it. And that's exactly how. When you do this, practice this at least 3 times a day. It's like building a muscle. It's like working out, and you get strong with your emotions. And bullies won't be able to push you around because you're strong within yourself. How many people will you share this with? Those of you that really get this and try it, and when you notice how it works, tell other people about it. My goal is to get this to 1 million children by the end of 2015. Is that a deal? All right. This was also written up in Psychology Today Online. This is the 2nd book, Merlin and the Orb of Ozarl. It's more adventures. There's dragons and pirate cats. It's a lot of fun. I'm working on the 3rd one. So I thank you guys, and yeah, I